ആ ഹലോ അനുവിന് പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഓപ്ഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. ഒരു minute.
Hi, Richin.
1 minute then.
സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യണത് ഡിസേബിൾ ആണല്ലോ.
Wait, ഇപ്പം പെർമിഷൻ.
ഓക്കെ.
Anu, can you share the screen right now?
ഓക്കെ. സ്ക്രീൻ വിസിബിൾ ആണോ?
Yes. You can start the section, Anu.
Okay. So, hi everyone. Today we are going to be looking into Django serializer. So, this is the outline of our session. So, first we will look into body serializer and core components of then core components of serializer, and then advanced serializer, and finally we will get into a demo of simple Django serializer. So, for those who aren't familiar with Django, I will explain simply what Django is and how it's work. Actually, Django is a high-level Python web framework that enable developers to build web applications. It provides a set of tools, features for simplifying common web development tasks, such as URL routing, database integration, template rendering, etc. Um, Django follows a design pattern called model view template that helps to organize the code structure into three main components called models, views, and templates. So let's get into our topic. What is serializer? Actually, serializer allow complex data such as query sets and model instance to be converted into Python data types that can be easily rendered into JSON, XML, or other content types. Um, Serializer also provide deserialization, allowing past data to be converted back into a complex type. So uh, let's see how it's work. This is the, let's say how we have a DB, and we want to retrieve some user list or customer list from the DB. So whatever the data what we are fetching from the DB is called query set. Actually, the query set is complex. The query set cannot travel directly into web app. Uh, so to do this, we need some conversions. First of all, we need to convert the query set to Python data type, uh, and this is the first step. And then we will convert um, the dictionary or Python data type to JSON or XML. Um, so uh, Django serializer convert the query sets to dictionary, and so this is here comes the importance of Django serializer. It mainly convert the data coming from the database to Python data type. The next is core components of serializers. Here are the fields used in Django serializer. First, the character field. This is for storing the strings of characters like names or description. Then the integer field that store whole numbers like age, count, etc. And then next is float field, which is used to store decimal numbers. And then boolean field that represent true or false values to useful for checkboxes. And then next is datetime field for storing date and time information like when the record created or updated. And the next is date and time field, which is storing date and time data separately. And the next is email field for storing email address, and URL field for storing URLs like website address or link resources. Slack field for storing is used to create URL friendly representation of data like article titles or user friendly identifiers. And the choice field allows selection from a predefined list of choice. It is useful for drop down menus or selection field. And the file field stores file uploaded through the APIs such as image or documents. And the next is image field. It's similar to file field, but specially for storing image field. These are the fields allow developers define the structure of their data, and it should be serialized or deserialized and interacting with Django models and APIs. Next is validation. Um, Here, first one is data validation. Um, when data is submitted to Django serializer either through an API request or through some other means, the serializer automatically perform validation on data to ensure it meets certain criteria. And next is field level validation. Each field in the serializer have its own validation rules. For example, character field might require the input to be certain length or format, while an integer field might require the input to be within the specific range. Next is serializer level validation. In addition to field level validation, serializer can also perform validation across multiple fields. It's allow us to enforce rules that involve multiple pieces of data. Next is automatic validation. Django fields provide automatic validation for um, uh, automatic validation based on the fields type and any additional validation rules that be specified. The next is error handling. If validation failed in Django serializer, the serializer raise a validation error, which contain detailed details about what went wrong. The last one is custom validation. Django serializer allow us to define some custom validation method, which give us full control over the validation process. So all over Django serializer make it easy to ensure that incoming data is valid and meets requirements of our applications. Next is about serialization and deserialization. Serialization. Telling about serialization, we saw that how serializers work in Django. It will how it will convert complex data type, structured or object into suitable format for transmission or storage, such as JSON or XML. Deserialization. Similarly, serializers can also perform deserialization, which involve converting serialized data back into original form. During deserialization, Django automatically validates the incoming data according to serializer's rule and field definition. Once validated, the serializer data is converted into native Python object or a Django model instance based on serializer instruction. The deserialized data is then available for further processing within the Django application. It can be used to update the database, perform calculation, or generate reports to API requests, depending on the specific requirement of our application. So, in summary, serializer serve as a bridge between applications, internal data structure, and external representation of that data, facilitating both serialization and deserialization. This functionality is essential for building RESTful APIs and handling data exchange between different system or platform. Next is about advanced serializers. Here we will discuss about model serializers and nested serializer. Model serializers are in the Django REST framework that inherit from the model serializer class. These classes define how Django model instance should be converted into JSON or XML or any other format for transmission over HTTP. This type of serializer handle the process of converting complex Django model instance into a format that can be easily transmitted over the web. This include converting model fields into their corresponding data types in the serialization format. It also handle a reverse process of deserialization, uh, incoming. I mean, it also process deserializing incoming data from API request into Django model instance. They ensure that incoming data is valid and then converted back in appropriate model instance. The next one is next nested serializer. Nested serializers are serializers that allow you to serialize or deserialize complex nested data structures. They are useful when you have models with relationships such as foreign key or many to many field. Nested serializer are serializer class that are nested within other serializer class. They allow us to include a representation of related objects within a serialized representation of parent object. They are used when we want to include data from a related object in our API response. For example, if we have an employee model with foreign key relationship to a department model, you can use nested serializer to include information about department and serializing an employee object. Um, This type of serializer also handle deserialization of related objects when deserializing the parent object. This means when you deserialize data for a for employee object, the nested serializer for the department will be invoked to deserialize the data for the department. Then next, we will build a simple Django serializer. So for this, um, I have created a simple Django project here. This is the Django model of the project. Um, I have in the initial slides I already said that Django follows some design pattern called model view template. So the first one is model. So here uh, this is the model. Uh, it's named as employee, and here the model represent it actually a model represent a table or a collection in a database in a Django model. And this Django model are used to define structure and behavior of data in an application. So I'll explain this field. So here I define this model for entering employee data in a company. So this is the first name and last name field hold the name of the employee, which is the character field and having minimum length of 100. And then it have a email field for storing the email of employee, and phone number field for storing the phone number of employee, and like date of birth of employee, position in the employee in the company department, and salary. For salary it is decimal field. It date of for that, because similarly date field for date of birth, date field for the date of birth. And then this is the view view of the project. Um, so this view we will I have I will I mean I write a class for doing CRUD operations. And this view will manage the employee for listing the employee and creating new employees. So this is the get API view for fetching all employees data. So mm, as I already said, this I have implemented a model called employee. So the this I have fetched the data of employees using this query object.all. And then the I have shown that uh, the data from the database is our query sets. So these query sets are coming into the serializer, and the serializer will convert the data, query sets to a like the Python data type, and the Python data type will convert this into JSON. So here, the response will convert the data coming from the serializer to JSON, and I'll just run this and show you guys how it works. So this I have wrote an API for listing the employees in the URL session. Here I have wrote an API for listing and creating the employees data. So uh, while calling this API, it hit into the data database, and that it will fetch all the employees data in query set format. So it's not able to travel into the web application, so need to come convert is need to serialize. So for serializing this, I have created a serializer called employee serializer. We will look into this later, and this serializer will serialize the data, and we will get the serializer data here. This is the serializer data. You can see this is not in JSON format, and the response will convert the serializer data into JSON. So this will be the output. It is the JSON data that we can pass to web application. So this is how the API work. Telling about the serializer, I have defined a model serializer here to write the serializer. I've imported serializer from Rust framework and given a name for the serializer, and we saw the how to import model serializer dot serializer, I mean serializer dot model serializer here, and we will connect the model with the meta class by giving the model name and fields name. We can also define a specific field name here in the model we have seen. We can if we want to only get the data from if we want to only fetch the first name and email, we can also um, uh, define it in we can also define here. I um, I give it as all for getting all data, and then coming to the view. The next one is post API for creating the employee serializer. So the API for creating employee serializer, I have wrote an API. This is the data I am going to pass for creating employee. So I'll pass the data, and here how it works is the coming data is in form of JSON. We need to deserialize the data. So serializer can be used for deserialization also. First, for the in deserialization, it will deserialize, and it will next step is it will validate. So it got that failed to save validate. Let's see how what happened. Employee with this mail ID already exists, so I change my mail ID to serializer do the validation itself. So if I give it this, it will goes to save, and the data successfully saved, and then the data is rendered to the output. So we can um, we can use the serializer for serializing and deserialization. While serializing, we need to pass the object in the instance key used here, and I set the many equal to true, because I have so many data. I mean, so many query sets here, so that's why I set main equal to true here, and then for creating this employee serializer are other they are coming data are JSON, so that I pass the data in the data key, and I can also explain with some custom validation. For this, I have some code here for doing custom validation. In these functions will do some actions for phone number. Here it will check whether the number is in 10 digit, and for salary it will check whether it is positive number. So if we set this validation, if I create a new instance, I can give it as another name, and here I haven't given 10-digit number, and this is all other data remain same. I'll just pass this data into post API. Let's see how is it validates or not. The coming value phone number is not 10 digit, so it's raised the uh, error. So this is how the validators work. If we want to give another field validation, we can give function name as validate underscore the field name, and in this value, whatever data we passed in the field name, it will comes, and we can do the function. We can do the function here. So this is the simple demo. And conclusion, um, simplifying the process of converting. This Django serializer helps to simplifying the process of converting complex data structure into format suitable transmission over web, providing fine-grained control over serialization and deserialization logic, allowing for custom serializer field to handle specified data types or implement custom validation logic, enhancing developer productivity by automating much of the serialization and deserialization process. In summary, Django serializers are an essential tool for managing data in that Django REST framework. They make it easy to convert the complex data into a format that we can be set over a web and back again. With serializer, we can control how our data is formatted, validated it to ensure it's correct, and even to handle complex relationship between different base of data. By using this serializer, we can build APIs faster with less codes. So, thank you. Have any questions? So, I think nobody have questions. So let's wind up this session. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Mm.